Why does the narcissist keep returning? In the wake of abandonment, what drives the narcissist to re-enter the victim's life and seek them out once again? After betraying, hurting, and subjecting them to emotional and psychological turmoil, what fuels the narcissist's urge to reconnect? Why does the narcissist continue returning to the victim's life? What compels their persistent reappearance? Let us delve into the reasons why the narcissist feels the need to resurface in the victim's life. What prompts the narcissist, after initially singling you out or ensnaring you, to come back once more? As we delve into our subject, consider this. When the narcissist circles back to the victim, it's crucial to recognize that from the outset, the narcissist targeted you and entrapped you. However, there comes a point where the narcissist becomes acquainted with facets of your being that were previously foreign to them. Perhaps it's your physical attractiveness or qualities that they lack. Yes, you possess certain traits that are absent in them. Yet, bear in mind, they don't truly know you on a personal level. They are unable to perceive the depth of your gaze, as the saying goes. Regrettably, in the realm of narcissism, individuals are often interchangeable. To the narcissist, all are indistinguishable. The concept of loving a person for who they are or for specific traits they possess is beyond their comprehension. Every individual is subjected to the same treatment, oscillating between admiration and belittlement. The narcissist is a relentless diminishing force, and over time, everyone succumbs to their viewpoint of narcissism. In their eyes, everyone is a mere source of ego nourishment. To the narcissist, all individuals are perceived as undeserving. While they alone deserve everything, they view everyone as their possessions, including those they interact with. Others are viewed as personal property, subject to their whims. The narcissist, dear listeners, treats you as if you're their private property, devoid of significance, emotions, and sensations. In their perception, you have no needs, feelings, or emotions. You hold a specific role in their life, a role meant to perpetuate their sense of control, superiority, ownership, and dominance over you. The narcissist's relentless return, unveiling the pattern. In the narcissist's realm, your presence doesn't evoke joy or sorrow. Therefore, his mistreatment and humiliations towards you hold no difficulty for him. Regardless of your suffering, he remains unaffected, neither by your experiences nor by external influences. To the narcissist, all humans are but subjects, possessions in his dominion. What drives the narcissist to return regardless of the circumstances? Even if he's distanced himself from you, or if he views you as an object akin to his possessions, like his phone or car.
In his eyes, you're an item he owns, bearing significance only in the role he's assigned you. Should you fulfill this role, supplying the sustenance he craves, ponder this equation for a moment. The narcissist never forsakes his victims. He clings to them unceasingly. He avoids leaving them to their own devices, maintaining a tight grip. And he doesn't limit himself to a solitary target. He operates on numerous fronts. The narcissist's focus isn't confined to a single victim. He requires more than one. 1, 2, 3, even 4 victims. Why? Upon deserting one, he swiftly shifts his attention to the next. This perpetual cycle is ideal for him. With multiple victims under his sway, he's in control. The moment he abandons you, he directs his manipulations and exploitation toward another victim. The narcissist never truly relinquishes. He's always plotting his return. He safeguards this intent within his psyche, preventing it from fading away during the year or two he might stay away. This tactic ensures his continuous reign over the relationship, resuming the exploitation and further draining what remains of you, a victim completely spent by the narcissist's relentless grasp. The narcissist won't release the victim until their very essence is obliterated. In this relentless pursuit, he employs every conceivable means to draw you back into his orbit, resuming the cycle of manipulation and control. The repeated return of the narcissist, a cycle of manipulation. The narcissist returns, and mind you, it's not just a single instance, but often multiple times, 2, 3, or more. Undoubtedly, you've come across people who've tangled with a narcissistic personality. Even those who have decisively cut ties eventually realize that their detachment happened when they were thoroughly drained, utterly weary, and worn out from enduring the narcissist's mistreatment, negative behaviors, and hurtful actions. Whether they left him or he left them, after a certain interval, be it a month, 2, 3, or even a year, the narcissist resurfaces. He employs promises, falsehoods, and claims of change, offering sweet words and pledging transformation. But these words seldom translate into actions. What matters most is that he attains his objectives by any means necessary. Lying poses no qualms for the narcissist. He's an adept fabricator. He never tires of falsehood, and his manipulation skills are exceptional, operating on levels you couldn't conceive. The narcissist's capacity for trickery, manipulation, and facade is unfathomable. His victims often find his reappearance a chilling experience. Even if there were deceit, tears, pledges, and alluring talk, victims sometimes believe that perhaps he is genuinely transformed. Yet the narcissistic persona remains constant. The abusive, narcissistic character is steadfast in its essence, unchanging until death. And it continues this way until the victim's demise as well. The victim's plight doesn't release the narcissist's grip. He never abandons them. He won't leave them in peace. His unsettling presence persists because he's a psychologically deranged, abnormal individual. He struggles to interact in a proper or expected manner, incapable of engaging in ordinary human interactions. The narcissist's return isn't spurred by sentiment but by the incessant need for control, triumph, and dominance over you. He embeds himself in your life to reign over you, dominating your emotions, thoughts, and every facet of existence. So when he leaves you, it's a form of punishment, an assertion of power, regardless of who initiated the separation. The narcissist perpetually entertains the possibility of your return, viewing it as a fresh conquest. To him, your reappearance signifies a victory anew. The repeated return of the narcissist, a cycle of manipulation. Part 1, a cycle of return, a recurring pattern. Numerous individuals who have extricated themselves from a relationship with a narcissistic personality, or those who have managed to distance themselves from their toxic influence, often find themselves in a familiar loop, where the narcissist returns not just once, but repeatedly. There's a discernible cycle at play here. As we've established, this is a way of life for the narcissist. He never truly lets go of his victim. His modus operandi centers on manipulation and control, driven by his insatiable arrogance. The craving for dominance fuels his actions, always striving to assert his influence. Part 2. The power play of the return. Resuming control. When the narcissist makes his reappearance, his intentions are clear. He aims to reclaim his position as the central figure in your life, the pivotal force around which your existence orbits. His purpose is to render you unable to function without him. By re-entering the toxic relationship, you effectively concede that he's once again at the helm, steering your emotions. Your world reverts to its previous state, as if he never lost his grip on you. And now, you're acutely aware of your compliance in allowing him to manipulate your emotions. Your agreement to his terms and the subsequent return to the toxic dynamic serve as a signal to him that he wields authority over you and your feelings. It's an acknowledgement of his control, and he revels in it. Part 3. Perpetuating presence, constant outreach. Even during periods of no contact or subsequent to the severance between the narcissist and his victim, you'll notice a relentless stream of messages from him. He'll find various avenues to communicate, be it through social media, phone calls, or any other means. If you've cut ties with him on certain platforms, he'll ingeniously navigate through to reach you. He endeavors to keep you preoccupied, ensuring you remain fixated on him. This calculated persistence ensures that his presence lodges firmly in your thoughts. By continually engaging your mind, he secures a lasting spot in your consciousness. He thrives on knowing he occupies your mental space, a constant reminder of his control. Conclusion: a vicious cycle. The return of the narcissist isn't a one-time event. It's a recurring cycle designed to maintain his dominance and fulfill his insatiable desire for control. As long as you continue to respond or engage, this cycle will persist, reinforcing his hold over you. Recognizing this pattern is the first step toward breaking free from his manipulation and reclaiming your autonomy. The narcissist's unquenchable need for control. Part 1. The Master of Destiny. Grandiosity at play. Within the realm of narcissism, an intense sense of grandiosity fuels the narcissist's actions. He finds gratification in re-establishing his grip on the relationship, manipulating you, and firmly asserting control. The conviction that he's the puppeteer of people's fates, particularly his victims, engenders a profound sense of satisfaction. Throughout your interaction, the narcissist ensures you view him as the paramount figure in your life. This positioning isn't confined to active engagement. He demands it during periods of no contact as well. Part 2. The Struggle for Supremacy. Unyielding quest for priority. In the phase of no contact or the interval of distance, the narcissist perceives it as a transient ordeal. During this span, you're expected to reserve your focus solely for him. He insists on retaining his preeminent status even when he's seemingly absent. Part 3. The Ego's Vulnerability. Challenging the ego. The narcissist confronts a significant challenge, particularly in this aspect. If he receives word or indication that you're contemplating involvement with someone else, his ego faces a severe blow. The mere notion threatens his perceived supremacy and profoundly impacts his psyche. He internalizes the idea that he's lost all significance in your life. His presence dwindles to nothingness, influence evaporates, and relevance wanes. No longer the focal point, the severance is stark for him. This realization serves as a powerful blow to his ego, underscoring his loss of control over you, an issue of paramount concern to a narcissist. Part 4. The Persistence of Control. Resisting the release. It's essential to recognize that the narcissist won't relinquish his hold easily. This isn't intended to be alarmist. It's an assertion rooted in his vengeful nature. The moment he discerns your resolute decision to exclude him from your considerations in life, an intense, boundless anger engulfs him. The realization that he's been relegated to insignificance triggers an all-consuming fury directed at you. Even if he's embarked on a new relationship or taken the step of marriage anew, rest assured that he won't forget you, especially if he's a narcissist. He'll find ways to cast shadows over your life, sow confusion and disrupt your peace using any means available. If an opportunity surfaces for retaliation, he'll seize it relentlessly. Conclusion: the nexus of control and revenge. In the narcissist's psyche, control and vengeance are inexorably intertwined. His return after periods of absence underscores his compulsive need for dominance and his unceasing quest to reclaim the upper hand. Breaking free from his grasp necessitates understanding his manipulative tactics and maintaining unwavering resolve. As you navigate this terrain, remember that the narcissist's revenge-driven actions are rooted in his wounded ego and his control hinges on your engagement.
The Cyclical Return of the Destructive Narcissist. Part 1. The Persistent Temptation. A perpetual cycle. Why does the narcissist keep coming back to you? Even when his intentions are destructive, his actions are frustrating, harmful, and deeply painful. After traversing the tumultuous journey of your relationship, marked by repeated cycles of separation and reunion, you've finally reached a point where you're determined to distance yourself, or he's chosen to leave. But he won't acquiesce so easily. Accepting your departure from his thoughts is not on his agenda. Part 2. The Original Intent. Motivated by envy. The narcissist initially targeted you as a means of fulfilling his destructive urges. His aim was to obliterate both you and the positive attributes he lacks within himself. Envy festers within him towards anyone who possesses qualities he covets, qualities like yours or those of his victim du jour. Part 3. The return as devastation. A deceptive return. For the narcissist, returning to you signifies a mission of annihilation. When he was present in your life, a life potentially blessed by God's grace, or even one from which you were saved, his narcissistic presence was viewed as an expression of divine love toward him. Regardless of the suffering he inflicted or the pain he caused, his mere existence, even if fleeting or rife with turmoil, was perceived as a divine blessing. His return, however, isn't driven by remorse or the benevolent intentions you might project onto him. The purpose behind his return is far from apologetic or redemptive. Instead, he plans to exploit this opportunity to further your destruction. Part 4. A strategy of control. Calculated manipulation. The narcissist's return isn't marked by contrition or reform. It's marked by strategy. He seeks to evade responsibility for his past missteps, which he believes triggered your decision to distance yourself. He embarks on a calculated endeavor to mend his ways, not for the sake of your relationship's restoration, but to ensure your ultimate downfall. This time, he's determined to tighten his grip, preventing any escape from his manipulative clutches. Conclusion: the power struggle continues. Understanding the narcissist's cyclical return illuminates the unrelenting power struggle he perpetuates. His intent is not to reconcile, evolve, or foster a healthy bond. Instead, his return underscores his insatiable thirst for dominance and your subjugation. Remaining vigilant against his destructive influence is key, as is recognizing the deceptive allure that can accompany his re-entrance. In the battle against a narcissist's return, knowledge and resilience are your greatest allies. The inescapable grip of the narcissist. Endless pursuit. It's crucial to understand that a narcissist will never willingly release you from his sphere of influence. No matter the circumstances, whether you're the one who initiated separation and distance, he will persistently keep you at the forefront of his thoughts. He relentlessly pursues you, ceaselessly seeking opportunities to draw you back into the web of the relationship. He employs destructive behaviors, as previously discussed, in his pursuit of this goal. His objective is to re-establish control over you, to experience the satisfaction of your return, and to wield power over your very existence. Part 1. The narcissist's twisted delight, a twisted form of joy. Upon his return to the relationship, the narcissist finds contentment in unsettling ways. He revels in witnessing your distress, your sadness, anger, or tension, forming his version of happiness from your misery. Yet, intriguingly, your triumphs and successes, particularly your escape from his clutches, profoundly agitate him. The fact that you've distanced yourself, that you've eluded his grip, frustrates and infuriates him to no end. Part 2. The motive behind the return. The catalyst for his return. This prompts a critical inquiry. What motivates the narcissist to return? It's more than mere whim. It's a compulsion. His return heralds the resurgence of the narcissist's presence, reigniting the toxic dynamic. As I've iterated, the narcissist won't release his hold on you. I implore you to internalize this truth. To those questioning or speculating in the comments about his intentions or why he persistently re-enters your life, listen closely. I'm earnestly endeavoring to clarify that the narcissist won't grant you freedom. Individually, the narcissist embodies destructiveness. Your interactions with him seldom yield positive experiences. How can you all casually employ the term narcissist as if it holds no gravity? Let's address this candidly. How can you reconcile being ensnared in a detrimental relationship? How do you contend with ceaselessly extending your best efforts only to receive negativity in return? I yearn to comprehend the allure within such circumstances. How does it feel to be perpetually the sacrifice, without a glimmer of positivity? Who designates these roles? Who posits that one party perpetually takes while the other solely gives? When did such dynamics become acceptable? Can we simply persist in this manner? No, this extends beyond mere endurance. It embodies insult, degradation, depreciation of self-worth, an absence of dignity, manipulation, devastation, the tainting of reputation, manifestations humans are inherently disinclined to endure or tolerate. No individual should subject themselves to such degradation. Refrain from suggesting, in the end, "But I love him," or "I'm entwined with him." What does that signify? Such notions inherently encompass the gravest affront, a self-inflicted wound, a toxic relationship's most severe form of harm. I ardently hope this message has resonated in this video or episode.